Alright, so I'm going to set the depth of my saw blade, oops, to just under 3/4 of an inch. That little white mark right there lines up with that little arrow, which you probably can't see, and that's 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to set it for just a little bit shallower than that. Sorry about that. It took two hands to hold it and hold that thing in place. So, alright, well, I just measured it with the ruler. I stuck it down here. Come on, focus. I stuck it down here like this, and I checked it. You can't see it because the blade guard is up now, but I checked it. And it's 1/16 of an inch shallower than 3/4. I just have to be very careful that I don't run into any screws, bolts, nails, and as always, safety first. Alright, I got my my first little grid cut out here, and having done this, I can tell you right now it's not enough to wear eye protection. I got to get some ear protection. It's loud. And I don't think I have anything for ear protection, noise reduction, so I may only be able to get a little bit of this done today. But I'm about to go at it. About to go at it with the crowbar. Alright, well that took about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Brute force. When all else fails, there's always brute, bloody force. That's what it's going to take to get all this stuff up. Now, my only concern right now is if I want to continue to cut this stuff, I'm going to have to try and pull this covering off completely before I do, because it may be covering bolt heads and screws and nails, and that could be really serious injury. I have my blade kick back on me because I hit a piece of metal. So I'm gonna have to peel all that stuff back, and again, because the saw is so damn loud, I'm not going to be doing any more cutting today. It's already after 3 o'clock. Sun's going to go down a few hours. My back hurts. My hip hurts. I'm just going to see how much of this I can peel up before I totally give out for the day. My 4-year-old granddaughter, soon to be 5, made this. I think that's pretty cute. Uh-oh, boys and girls, look what I found. That is one rusty bolt. And I guess I'm probably going to find more of them. So my plan of attack on these will be, I'm going to use a rust converter. It's chemical. It's basically just phosphoric acid. Comes in a can. Rust-Oleum makes it. There's other kinds. You can buy just straight phosphoric acid, I guess. I'm going to buy the Rust-Oleum brand. And you gotta get it clean first. You know, you gotta scrape away all the loose, flaky rust, and then wash it with soap and water to get any grease, oil, wax off of it. And then rinse it and dry it, and then spray it with this stuff. And what it does is it chemically changes the iron oxide into some other mineral or metal. No, not metal. I guess probably a mineral. And it turns black and it becomes waterproof. It becomes hard as a rock, and waterproof. So you don't have to go scraping away all the rust or anything like that. You just get the big flaky stuff around, clean it up, and spray that stuff on, and that rust proofs it. I'm wondering how that got rusty inside the van, especially with this floor on it. How did water get in there? Another mystery to be solved. So as you can see, I got that great big plastic panel off. And all cut up into the recycling. It was a beast to cut up. But I did. And then here, since this was all one piece, but this is where I'm going to begin my wall. I'm going to separate the cab from the back, but this seat isn't all the way back. When this seat is all the way back, it comes to about here. And I have to leave this much of that plastic paneling on because it surrounds the seat belt thing, and I don't want to mess with that. So I used my oscillating tool. I bought an oscillating tool, and I used that with the straight blade on it. Maybe I should have used the curved blade, I don't know. But it did the trick. It took a few passes, but I got it done, I got it out. Well, boys and girls, look what I found out. These rails, brackets, whatever you want to call them, are bolted into this piece of steel, which is welded to the floor. And it's not just welded on each end, it's welded once, it's welded twice, 3 times, and 4 times. And these things, these metal bars that they welded on here are sticking up above the floor. So that can only mean one thing. If I'm going to do this myself, and I kind of have to, means I have to go to Home Depot and buy an angle grinder and some blades. I'm going to have to cut them suckers off. Oh man, what a beast of a job. I knew this was going to be tough. I just knew it. I've had to recharge both my 18-volt batteries twice today. And that was just to cut. And that's as far as I've gotten in the last 2 days. That's as far as I've been able to get in the last 2 days. And like I say, I've had to recharge my batteries twice today. My poor little saw, it struggles to cut through this 3/4 inch plywood with the gooey, gummy, sticky adhesive on it. My old saw would have done a nice job on it, my old rigid cordless saw, but it broke last year, if you remember, if you were following my videos from my last build out on the old van. I had to buy this Ryobi because my old rigid wasn't working. There wasn't anything wrong with the battery. It was the saw, and I needed something to start with that day, so I went and got Ryobi because I already had a Ryobi drill with 2 rechargeable batteries. So I bought the tool only. I think it was like about 50-60 bucks. But it's not as powerful as my old rigid was. My old rigid saw would cut through this stuff a lot easier. But this is what I have to deal with. So it's going to be a tough job. Unbelievable. And I cut lines with a grid, you can see right there. I cut a grid, and then I have to get the crowbar under it and pry it up. What a beast. So I'm not having any fun, but I am getting some work done. So I think that once I get this wood up, I think what I'll do is I'll go buy a grinder, an angle grinder, a Ryobi cordless angle grinder, and I can get one for $40, just the tool. And then I can get a diamond encrusted metal cutting wheel for it. And I'm gonna have to, and I think I'll take this one off, because once I get that one off, maybe I'll be able to just grab hold of this board and slide it out if it's not. But you know what? They've put screws through the board down into the bed of the truck. So I guess there's only one way I'm ever going to get this done. And that's the same way I've been doing it. Peel this covering off so I can see where all the screws and bolts are so I don't cut through them. And then just cut. Just keep cutting. What a beast. I was thinking I'll put the my new blade back in the saw, because I think the old blade is pretty well worn out and it's not really cutting it too well. But I left my new blade in the trunk of my daughter's car and she's at work. So I might be done for the day pretty soon. I'll do some more of this, ripping up this this stuff here. And then I think I'll call it a day. The arthritis in my hip is really starting to hurt. Last night, by the time I got done, and I got up to my daughter's place on the 3rd floor, my hip was in so much pain. You know, I'm beginning to understand that it's not, that what's crippling about arthritis is not just the fact that the joints don't move like they used to, they don't rotate, and, you know, they don't have the flexibility and the motion that they used to. It's also the pain. When it starts hurting that bad, it immobilizes you. I just have to sit down or lie down. I can't do anything. I had trouble sleeping last night because I sleep on my side. My hip was still hurting halfway through the night. I didn't really get much sleep last night because of the pain. I take Tylenol. That's all I can take is Tylenol. All those other pain meds irritate my stomach, aspirin, ibuprofen, Motrin, all those things. So I just have to take acetaminophen, Tylenol, and that's it. So it was a tough night sleeping, and my hip is beginning to hurt right now, so I'm going to call it quits pretty soon. And I'll see you again soon.